Hey, this is Brian Ansah, founder of X Hydration, and this is the Sports Business Conversations podcast from ADC Partners.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Almy of ADC Partners, and thanks for clicking over to check out this most recent episode of the Sports and Business Conversations podcast. My guest today is Brian Ansah, a former University of Minnesota track athlete whose journey into entrepreneurship began not on the podium, but actually in recovery. After tearing his ACL, Brian suddenly found himself with more time on his hands than he was used to, and a lot of uncertainty about what came next. But instead of sitting still, he teamed up with his best friend, who at the time was recovering from an accident, to figure out their business futures. And the result was X Hydration. Now, X Hydration isn't your typical sports drink. In fact, it's not really a sports drink at all. It's a wellness water with aloe as its secret weapon. In this episode, Brian shares how they went from a $3,000 check from his brother to developing a product in professional labs, surviving a few taste test disasters, shall we call them, and eventually landing on something that actually works and tastes pretty good. We'll also talk about the brand's very intentional marketing strategy, which forgets follower counts. Brian and his team are seeking authentic athlete partnerships and word of mouth from people who actually believe in what they're drinking. He also dives into the mental challenge of leaving athletics behind and stepping into a whole new identity as a founder. There's a lot of honesty, a lot of hustle, and potentially even a little talk about diamonds. All right, let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Brian Ansah, the co-founder of X Hydration. Enjoy. So let's begin with getting a little bit about your background, right? So you're a competitive athlete. You ran track and field at the University of Minnesota. Was that always part of your background? Always part of your history? Were you competitive athletically from a young age?
Yeah, competing athletics is something that I've always done. I've been in sports from really young age, so
Okay.
I've always loved to compete ever since I could.
And all kinds of sports, or was there one that really stuck out to you as being like, I feel like I'm pretty good at this one, I should probably pursue it?
Yeah, in high school, I was a three-sport athlete, so I played basketball, football, and track. So I liked all sports. Middle school, I also played soccer as well. I kind of miss playing that too. But yeah, I loved all sports.
You try to cram 4 sports into a 3-sport season. That you must be good at time management too, I suspect.
Yeah, I ended up quitting soccer, so that's what happened.
I'm sure the football coaches were relieved that you gave that one up so you could focus a bit more on what they wanted you to do. How did the idea for X Hydration first present itself to you? Had you always had an entrepreneurial streak, or were you more fascinated in the science behind hydration and things like that? What were that? Tell me a little bit about that particular origin story.
Yeah, so the origin story for X Hydration, it's a long, but it's an interesting one. The idea first came to me when I got to the U running track.
University of Minnesota, correct?
Yeah, University of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually injured and I was rehabbing, so I had a bit more time on my hands than the average athlete because from an ACL tear, you're not just.
Oh, so you were injured.
Yeah. So I had a little bit more free time on my hands, and I'm like, dang, like, what am I gonna do? From a young age, I was always told like, oh, you're gonna go to the Olympics, you're gonna do this and this, you're gonna do that, and I'm sitting there in bed, like my knee's hurting, and I'm like, I got to do all this rehab. I'm like, maybe that might not be the case. Like, what will my trajectory be?
It's a tough pivot right there.
It is a tough pivot, and I always would call one of my best friends back home, Joel Carlson. He was going through a similar situation in terms of rehab. He had a really unfortunate accident happen to him, leaving him like paralyzed from the waist down. But Joel's the most optimistic person I know, a great guy, and I'd always make sure to call him because I'd always want to make sure like he was doing good, and I'm still connected back home when I'm in college. So me and Joel were just chatting it up one day, and we were just like, yeah, let's start a business. Like, let's just do it. It's just like something that, like it's like something in the group chat that made it out. We're just like, let's
It's the
start
thing that escaped the
this.
group chat into
Yeah, it's
IRL.
yeah. And
But it was
so we're
more
just
about
like,
the idea of starting a business rather
yeah.
than specifically focus on hydration at this point. Your
Mhm.
your your brain is used to working overdrive as an athlete, particularly as a student athlete, and now all of a sudden you find yourself with, I got to fill this time or I'm going to go bananas kind of
Yeah.
thing. And so this dialogue with Joel is sort of what led you to that point.
Yeah, that definitely led us to this point. So me and Joe were just kind of deciding, and like, like let's start a business, but like, what are we gonna do? Like, and
Oh,
so
that.
yeah, so we both, Joel's a very, very high level athlete. Joel's on route to be, great Division I hockey player. I'm
Mm,
a good athlete. We're just like, we know so much about sports and
go with
what
what
it
you know.
takes to be at the elite level, like what kind of nutrition you need. So we're just like, let's make like a sports drink, let's make a hydration beverage. And that's kind of how it all took off. We're just like, let's do it. And I called my older brother at the time. I was 18 when we first founded it. I called my older brother. I've always been like, the younger brother. I'm the youngest of three boys. So I
Oh,
called him
your
like,
parents. Just shout out to the Ansah parents. Holy mackerel. That must have been a busy household.
it was a pretty busy household. And so I called him and I'm like, yo, I know I have some crazy ideas, but like, listen to me, give me $3,000. I got this idea. Like I laid it out to him, pitched it to him, and I
Were
first,
you the crazy idea brother?
yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what? Like, give me a little history. Like, I mean, have you give me another crazy idea you came with your brothers with? Was this like something that they picked up the phone and went, "Oh no, it's Brian. This is going to be insane"? Or
Yeah.
give me a little bit of
So
that history on this.
we would always like just have some like crazy ideas where like we'd be like wrestling in the house or like playing soccer in the backyards. I broke
Uh,
windows and yeah,
again,
so I was
again,
like
shout out to the Ansah parents.
I was known for, doing some, 'cause I was always moving around, I had a lot
Right,
of,
yeah.
that it helped into my benefit with being an athlete. But so he, I asked him for the $3,000 and he was super supportive. Like he goes, you know what? I think this is a great idea. Like, let's go for it.
Really? So he bought in right out of the gate, just like that on the initial pitch.
Yeah, right off the initial pitch. And we never moved back and we were able to get to the point where we're at now.
Were you intimidated at all by the fact that I mean, it's not like there's no hydration beverages out there.
Mhm.
Was this something that gave you any pause, or kind of a competitive person by nature, you felt like there was a niche that you could exploit in that kind of saturated market?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely, the drink industry is pretty saturated,
Hmm.
so that's a given, but I do think there was a niche there for us. So I knew I didn't want to go against the competing leaders in the industry. So
Right.
we did a
They
lot.
have some resources at their disposal.
Yeah, a lot of resources. So we
Yeah.
did a lot of research and seeing like, what are the trends? What is the industry shifting to look like? And we saw that, it's more so fitness waters are what, buyers are trending towards or looking for, cleaner options.
Hmm.
So not necessarily a sports drink. We're more in a subcategory of like fitness water, like a wellness water.
Hmm.
So we found out that we could do that and we're trying to be a leader in that category.
Was the development process, because did you have a science background? Did product development, was this something you had to learn on the fly? I mean, how did that process unfold for you? Was it a huge learning curve or just more like an extension of yourself as an athlete?
I actually have my bachelor's in chemistry.
Okay, so there's
No,
some.
I'm kidding. I don't. I'm a business major. No, no, I'm
Well,
a
I
business
tell you, you
major.
had me hook, line, and sinker. I had a very straight face with the bachelor's in chemistry.
No, no, I do not have a bachelor's in chemistry. But I always had a good grasp on nutrition and what it takes to compete and fuel your body at the highest level. Although we were fortunate enough to partner with one of the best labs who have a team of great chemists that was able to put our ideas down and really make this thing a reality.
So is it that you approach the chemists with, here's the idea that we're looking for, and you kind of build the broad brushstrokes, and they say, okay, well, we'll come back to you with some ideas on what that might look like. What was the process that led you to the ultimate, we'll call it the initial final version of what X hydration would be? Was there a lot of iterations? Did you arrive at it pretty quickly?
There was a lot of iterations. We did a lot of sampling, a lot of taste testing, a lot of focus groups. Like I'm not gonna lie, it did take a while.
Yeah.
Like when we
Did it
got
take
the
longer than
first,
expected?
oh yeah, it
Yeah.
took longer than expected. When we got the first sample, I honestly at first thought I'm like, man, I might be out of my money. Honestly, the first sample, I was like, oh, this might have went south, but we stuck to it, and
Yeah.
we got great tasting formula down, a great functional formula down. So it was definitely worth the time.
Aloe seems to be a key ingredient slash differentiator for the brand. Did you arrive on that through your work with the group that helped develop the drink? Was this something that you went into the idea like, now this is something that I think we really need just because of my experience with it? How did that become one of the more forward leaning parts of both the drink and the brand?
Yeah, so with the aloe, we really wanted to do something different, and that's a conclusion that we came to just as a company, as X Hydration. We just wanted to really put in something that's, beneficial for the body. I mean, you see most brands are always doing, the coconut waters, and I kind of felt like, yeah, coconut water is good, but I kind of feel like it's kind of played out, like everybody.
Been there.
And I feel like, some people just use like just regular water, just nothing to it. I'm just like, let's do something different. We want to come in, we want to be innovative, we want to differentiate ourselves in a pretty saturated market. So let's find a way we can really utilize aloe, and it's a great ingredient where we found a way to really utilize it and get all the benefits from it.
And what are some of those benefits? Like when you talk about, I mean, when I think of aloe, I probably think about a lot of people. It's like when I get my sunburn, I got to get my
Mhm.
aloe on it. Otherwise, I'm going to peel like an onion kind of thing. So when you're talking about ingesting aloe, what are the qualities that make it an important ingredient for X hydration?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons it's an important ingredient for us. I mean, aloe, it helps our aloe that's contained in our beverage. It helps reduce oxidative stress, helps with like lowering cholesterol levels. It increases and I might sound like a chemistry major here, but it increases your body's
You've absorbed a lot along the
bioefficacy.
way. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it increases your body's bioefficacy and bioavailability of the fat-soluble vitamins that are contained in our beverage. So it actually helps your body absorb like vitamins like vitamin E, vitamin A. So it actually helps your body be able to absorb those nutrients that are contained within our formula.
So as discussed, right, this is a crowded category, right? It does take a lot, particularly as a new player in it, to stand out amongst, particularly on the shelf. So as you have built your team internally and you've had discussions about this, what are some specific ways that X Hydration is looking to break out in a crowded category? I mean, I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there like, how do I stand out there? For you, as you've developed along this process, what for you is some of the more important strategies in that regard?
For differentiation, I'd say an important part of it for us is branding.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure you always want to make sure you're standing out in such a crowded market. Make sure your
Mm-hmm.
branding is clean and it looks good. It's appealing to the eye. It's appealing.
Somebody's walking down the aisle,
Yeah.
their eye will go to it.
Kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
catch someone's eye,
Yep.
and definitely walking through the shelves. Marketing is also a huge, huge, huge part of that for us to differentiate ourselves, trying to come up with new viral marketing
Yeah.
campaigns to get, people to buy in. And one of the big things for us was being able to partner with Lift Sports Management, doing a great job with us being their official hydration partner
Mm.
for them to help us break into new markets and really help amplify our marketing efforts so we can differentiate ourselves and gain a bigger base as we're trying to emerge as one of the top hydration brands.
I mean, as a college athlete, obviously this product is developed in this new period of time for college sports. Does name, image, likeness, and being able to partner with athletes enter into that equation, or is that something you feel like is for when the brand is more mature?
Yeah, NIL is huge, and it's an ever
Yeah.
changing landscape right now, and it's definitely something that, when utilized correctly, can be a pretty powerful marketing tool. So we've done a couple NIL deals so far. We're going to look to expand on those and try to find those brand partnerships that make sense for us. Because at X Hydration, everything we try to do is authentic, and
Right.
we don't necessarily just go for the athlete that has 100,000 followers or like 200,000 followers. Like,
You go for the podcast hosts with like 300.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's what you go with.
That's where you get the ROI there. But we look to get the athletes that really like our product and actually genuinely enjoy our product and what we're building here and what we're doing, because then that's someone who actually is authentic in their posts and is authentic about the brand, and
Helps tell your story.
yeah, it doesn't look like just like another paid partnership. We really try to avoid that because those are, I feel like, overplayed and kind of saturated as well.
What are some aspirational brands for you? I mean, when you're getting started with X Hydration, you start to think about, gosh, what are the brands that I think we want to try to emulate? Has there been both within the category and outside the category? Are there ones that stand out to you saying, boy, if we could replicate that particular success and have that kind of authenticity and storytelling in our messaging? What are the ones that stood out to you and how you're trying to replicate that with X Hydration?
Yeah, I definitely say in the CPG industry,
Mm.
or excuse me, time out. Let's
Yeah.
restart on.
Yeah.
In the beverage industry, a company that we really admire, I'd say, is Poppy. I feel like Poppy does a great job of coming in with, new benefits. It's a new market. They're taking a twist on soda, making it healthier, and we're just trying to emulate, their consumer friendly, like Gen Z approach into marketing. I think they do a great job with what they're doing there. And then in the CPG industry as a whole, shout out Smack and Sunflower Seeds. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're also
Yeah.
University of Minnesota grads, and they're killing it. They have viral marketing campaigns. They really know what they're doing. They're on it every day, and they're just a testament to hard work and growth. And we're trying to emulate what they're doing as well and try to use some of the things that they've done right into our marketing scheme.
Talk a little bit, Brian, if you could, about making the transition from athlete to entrepreneur. So it does have some things that carry over, I think, relatively well, but there is a learning curve on a lot of other things. So I'm interested in what you've had to learn professionally and what you've had to maybe look on personally as, boy, I need to develop some skills here. Talk about that transition a little bit.
Yeah, gosh, that's a good question. I feel like
Give you a
um
long list.
yeah, I feel like every athlete, unless you've gone to the next level, um kind of has that like realization from like
They
going from
confront that moment.
yeah, from a college athlete to now you're in the world, like like the thing that you've done since you were, a kid, and now you're doing something different. It's definitely like it is the realization check. It's a bit of a moment, because I mean, at some point, I mean, first personally speaking for me, like that kind of becomes your identity. Like, I've always been like, oh, the track star, the track guy, and it's kind of weird, kind of shifting that identity to like something else, kind of like it's still a part of you, but like that's not like the main focus. But I think a lot of the qualities that I gained being an athlete, like hard work, dedication, really being a grinder, being persistent, failing and trying again and trying again and trying again. I really feel like that is carried over into me being an entrepreneur. I think leadership has also carried over from me being in sports for a while. I think that really helped me shape my leadership qualities, but it definitely is different being an entrepreneur than just an athlete,
Do you think there's this part of you that thinks, boy, my identity is so tied up into being a track and field athlete? I need to not replace it, but supplement it with a new version of me. And so that creates that competitive fire to make sure that you do it. Do you think that's part of that transition as well?
Um, I think part of that transition also it just kind of entails me wanting to be kind of like with the same thing that I wanted to attract, is me trying to be the best athlete I can be. I'm also trying
Hmm.
to be the best entrepreneur that I can be. So that's definitely something that adds fuel to my fire every day. Like, done with track, but I wake up every morning, ready to go. And that's kind of my motivation. Like I want to be the best entrepreneur. I want to be, being able to do these things.
I wonder if you have recommendations, like we talked about. Every almost every athlete goes through this moment. I've had several on the podcast, from people who competed in the Olympics and getting out of the pool for the last time and being like, now what? Right, when it becomes so much a focus of your, as someone who's in the process of successfully making that transition. What, I wonder, advice would you give to other people who are still at that cusp of reinvention? Do you have like some thoughts on what their first steps should be?
Yeah, I think one thing that really, you know, kind of helped me was like I was at one point kind of my identity, but like you can't make something like that your
Mm,
identity because then if you do that and then you stop that, you'll really kind of lose yourself. A piece of advice I'd give is just that you're more than just your sport. You're more of a complete person, and just know that like everybody has their timeline.
mm.
It's something that you can't do forever. Even if you go on to be a great professional, there's going to be one point you're going to retire. So just having that in mind, like either if you're done now, you're done in a year, you're done in 2 years, you didn't make it out, like everybody has a timeline, just knowing that like at one point you're going to have to transition to something else.
So where do things currently sit with X hydration and particularly distribution? Right,
Mhm.
because it's one thing to get the product in a can,
Yep.
bottle, can bottle.
It's in a 16.9 ounce bottle.
All right, 16.9 ounce bottle. I love the precision. That does speak like a chemistry major right there. So maybe you did get your chemistry degree. Where do things sit as far as distribution? Like where can people get it now?
Mhm.
And what are you shooting for as far as distribution? Because obviously scale is the name of the game in this.
Yeah, so currently we're available at all the 9 Fresh Times in Minnesota. We are available in a couple of select gyms in Minnesota and some high schools in Minnesota. But in terms of nationwide scale, we're available nationwide on Amazon. So if you're not in Minnesota and you would love to try a premium hydration beverage, Amazon's your go-to for that. In terms of what we're looking to expand in more in the Midwest region, branching out from Minnesota to more of the other Midwestern states. But ultimately, we're looking to take this thing nationwide. I think we do have the product and the team to do that. It's a matter of time before you can just go in and grab X hydration wherever you want to grab it.
But it is kind of nice, at least, to have your initial distribution somewhat close by where you can monitor
Yeah.
how it shows up, right? You can go to the Fresh Times, you can go to some of the local gyms and things and see and hear how people are responding to it, right? It's you're
Oh,
starting to build that feedback loop that would be more difficult if you were like in San Diego or something like that, something that wasn't close by. Helpful, right?
oh no, 100% helpful.
Brian, as we wrap here, I'm interested in some of your big audacious goals that you have for X Hydration. Obviously, we talked a little bit about distribution. We talked about the product development process itself. What else, as you look in these next 12 months, are things that you look at as being those aspirational things that you're looking for X Hydration?
Yeah, I think some of the big aspirational goals that we're looking to in the next 12 months. I mean, distribution was a pretty big one,
Yeah, I'll bet.
to be picked up in, stores, retail locations nationwide. Another big goal for us is to be able to open the VC-backed round,
Mm.
to get more funding, more capital to really amplify the things we're doing here, and us to be able to continue our mission in an upward manner. Another big one is just being able to be more recognizable, becoming more of a household name and be able to get more market share in this industry.
Well, I mean, this podcast alone, my God, it's just going to be like, watch the percentages start to rise right in. I'm with Brian Ansah. He is the founder of X Hydration. Brian, I want to thank you for spending the time. But before I let you go, I got to put you in the lightning round.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, these are a series of questions. These are not coming at you in a linear perspective. These are coming at you from every direction.
All right.
I mean, just brace yourself. All right. Brian Ansah in the lightning round. What flavors have you tested and abandoned immediately?
The first ones we were doing in formulation, we kind of switched. We had to switch that one out immediately. Like the first one, I thought
it was that bad.
Yeah, it was. But X Hydration is now a great tasting, functional.
It's great tasting now, but that's built on a foundation of what have we done?
Yeah, built on a foundation. Things like this definitely take time. It's important to taste test before you go to market.
Okay. All right. According to your University of Minnesota bio, you have a special interest in diamonds. So, Brian, are you writing a heist movie?
I'm not. I wish I was. That'd be pretty cool if I was.
That would be pretty cool.
Director, I think I'd have a badass heist movie if I was. But I just kind of like. I think they're pretty cool. I have a couple jewelry pieces. So
all right, so come by that naturally. You ran the 400 in college. That is an event that is widely understood to be brutally hard. So my question is, why, Brian? Why?
Yeah, that's a question I ask myself.
Usually somewhere around the 300-yard mark.
No, it definitely is. It's a tough one. I feel like every 400 runner can relate that it's a love-hate relationship. Sometimes you do it not because you love it, but because you end up just being that's the event that you're good at.
Brian Ansah, he is the founder of X Hydration. Thanks for spending the time today, Brian.
All right, thank you, Dave. Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the One-on-One Sports Business Conversations podcast. If you enjoyed it, we always appreciate a subscribe, share, comment, or like. And don't forget, you can always find past episodes at abcpartners.com/podcast. This podcast is written, produced, edited, and hosted by Dave Almy. And the theme music was composed by Scott Holmes.